SoulSpeak Living in Color, where we talk about inspirations, following your dreams, and what lights your fire. I'm your host, Sam Philyaw, Rainbow and Thunder voiceover. You can find me at samphilyawvo.com. Hello, guys, and welcome back to SoulSpeak Living in Color. I've taken a hiatus for the last several months while I do some stuff for my business, but we are back in action, and I have Josh Alexander, who is a voice actor and business coach, and he's here to share with us some glorious tidbits of information about his journey in voiceover and business coaching, how he got there, why he would rather cut off his arm than go back to wedding videography. Yeah. And
true story.
And why he loves what he does. Here to inspire you guys if you're looking to follow down this path. So hello, and thank you for joining us, Josh.
Thank you for having me. Did you say glorious? I think I need to shine my halo a little bit. Wow. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't think I've ever been introduced with the adjective glorious in the intro, but I'll take it. Happy to be here.
We like magnanimous words over here.
Magnanimous. Just say magnanimous then. That's a little bit than glorious. This magnanimous. Yeah, I'll take that one.
So tell us about your voiceover journey. Like, how did you get started? Why you decided to jump into it? And how you got here.
Yeah. So it is fairly embarrassing. The origin story is fairly embarrassing. It's not your typical superhero origin story. It starts with the dirty T word, telemarketing. I actually worked long time ago, when puppies were the oldest animals. I used to work at a studio in Bellevue, Washington. And so I would sell what's called PSAs or CSAs, public service announcements, community service announcements. And so I was a telemarketer, lowly, humble telemarketer. I would call businesses across the nation on behalf of their local radio station, and we would sell PSAs. So a PSA, for example, would be parents, talk to your kids about the dangers of drinking and driving. Parents, use a kid code to prevent abduction. Parents, encourage your kids to get involved with sports and youth activities. Good sound advice brought to you as a courtesy by Jim's Plumbing. And so we would call Jim's Plumbing, and hopefully Jim would buy that spot, and it would air, and it would, hey, Jim's Plumbing, what a great business. They care about the community. And so it's really good for public image. So a lot of people would buy those. I was just a lowly telemarketer. One call, I happened upon a client who said, we will buy, but only if you read the spot. And I was kind of like, I was taken aback because I'd never heard that request before. No conditions were ever attached to the potential purchase before. So I remember leaning back in my chair and I went, he'll buy, but he wants me to read. Can I read this? I'm reaching for a manager and can I read this? I've never done this before. And they said, absolutely. Yeah. Apparently it was more of a common occurrence than I knew. So they bought. The managers upheld their promise, and they brought me into the studio. I put the headphones on. I started to read. I heard myself in the cans and went, I really like this a lot, like a really lot. And the rest was kind of history. I became addicted to being like a studio cat, voiceovers, singing, music production, produced 9 CDs over the course of my musical career that I enjoyed.
Impressive.
But voiceovers were always the bedrock of it. They were always the foundation, and they were my first love. So I returned to my first love. I wandered for a while like the prodigal son, but I eventually returned from jingles and singing and singles and jinging and everything else, and returned to voiceovers. And that's a really long story. And I think, is the interview over now? It's like way too long. So, but doing that since 1993, off and on, but finally came back to voiceovers full time in 2016.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. So since 2016, that's been, gosh, can you believe that's 6 years ago?
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. Well, the origin story, again, very embarrassing, but it goes back to 93. But then I went wayward and, went this way and that way. And I really like to say this because I really feel that it's true. I kind of feel like I stood on the riverbank for a long time on the periphery of voiceovers and kind of watched things happen. And I unfortunately got caught up in the whole, office position pursuit. Admin assistant, executive assistant, office manager, things like that. I'm very organized and very business minded. So those types of positions fit me like a glove, but the creative side was being neglected in that. And so I would watch voiceovers and see VoiceBank acquire, or voices.com acquire VoiceBank, and see just different rises and falls of different people, and watch and kind of come back to it a few years later. And I never thought of pursuing it. I did actually offer it when I went into multimedia production. I became a sole proprietor in the the summer of 2007. And then I did include voiceovers as an add-on to commercial video production. I just never thought of offering it as a service unto itself until like mid 2016. So I was a videographer, a wedding videographer, video transfer artist, anything that starts with a V, vivisection, blah blah blah. I did all of those things, and then finally sacrificed all of them on the altar of voiceovers in 2016, and never looked
You've
back.
been rocking it ever since, though.
Yeah, I'm very grateful.
Just so you guys know, this dude let's fit 19, 20 jobs, maybe more in a week. It's kind of crazy, but he's a good guy to get in touch with if you're trying to boost your game. Little plug here. So what is I have my script here, you guys, just in case you figure out what I'm reading, because I'm unorganized. What do you most like to work in? Like, what's your favorite genre?
I do a lot of web videos. I do a lot of e-learning. I like those genres, but man, there's nothing more exciting for me at least, when you get a public spot. And I actually just got it wasn't even a renewal. It was actually, they want to redo these spots for Touchstone Energy. I think they're in California. And I did a bunch of spots last year for them. They wanted to do virtually the same things again this year. And so really, really good payday for that one. And I love, when people say, hey, was that you on, did I just hear you in a leaf car commercial, or in a Touchstone Energy commercial, or was that you on the commercial for Green Dot Bank for the Ellen DeGeneres show? And I was like, yeah, that's me. It's just really cool to be found out there in the wild, and to be out there. There are some people, Brad Hyland is known for being Santa in Elf on the Shelf. I don't have a notorious character like that in my arsenal or in my resume, but there's several other things that I'm very proud of. Commercial work, I think, is what my heart gravitates to, because it really does pay the bills, and it's just a treat to get out there and actually like, hey, I heard you on such and such. So
This is awesome with commercials, because like you can literally go into a session that's booked for an hour and take 15 minutes. Done.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I did a TV commercial for Discover Long Island. And this was pre-pandemic. Obviously, it'd be pretty foolhardy to encourage tourism in the middle of the pandemic. It was 2019. And boy, the session was probably 15 minutes, and got paid $5,000 for that TV commercial. Didn't have to edit anything. Basically just gave them the raw file, and they, took it and cut and spliced and put their own effects on it, and just like one and done. Nice paycheck. Thank you. On your way.
Producers do amazing work. And when you got a good director, stuff like that happens. I think the least amount of time that I've spent in a session for a radio commercial was for Zoom, and it was 8 minutes, including pleasantries and hellos, goodbyes, that kind of thing. 8 minutes for a 30-second commercial. Yes.
Yeah.
The peak of my career.
Well, then you're free for the whole day, and you're like, then the reverse is true. There's other sessions where there's like 20 people in the session, and you have a 5-word script, and you're in there for like 2.5 hours, because they just like, let's do one more this way, and then say it with, throw the British twist on it. Let's hear it as Gollum, go ahead and do it in your best Jimmy Durante voice. And I'm like,
Let's do
I,
5 more for safety.
I know 21 for safety. That's crazy. Those are the ones where you're just like, oh man, I thought this was going to be the fast one, but no.
That's awesome. So how about business coaching? I know that that's a more recent endeavor thing that you're doing. So tell us about the business coaching stuff that you do.
Well, Bill DeWeese, I believe, is who I heard this phrase from, and
Bill DeWeese, great man.
yeah, he's very well established, and he has an excellent phrase that I wish everyone would adopt. Getting into voiceovers, and it is, if it was him, I'm pretty sure it was him who said it. He said, "I'm a businessman who just happens to do voiceovers." And that phrase presumes that you are an entrepreneur first and foremost, and your craft comes second. As an entrepreneur, a sole proprietor, a freelancer, whatever you want to call yourself, you can only go so far in the hobby lane in voiceovers or whatever your craft is. You can only go so far. If you intend, however, to take this as a business pursuit and put your craft that you love so much and that you want to do so much in full time, if you're willing to put that on a vehicle to go somewhere, then you're going to go somewhere. I know that sounds a little redundant, but it's like you have to have the vehicle in order to take the craft somewhere. So businessman first, who just happens to do voiceovers, very accurately sums up what I do. That's my love. That's my desire and my passion, and teaching people how to stop making $5,000 a year and start making $500,000 a year. It's exceptionally possible. Voiceovers is exceptionally lucrative. And so, but it only happens when you really start to look at this and go, the really horrible example, because I'm not wearing a voiceover branded t-shirt today. But, you know, voiceover branded t-shirts, vinyl lettering on your car, business cards, you know, do you have business cards made? Why? Why don't you? Would you get a burner line for a professional phone number forwarding to your cell phone? Would you get, you know, professional letterhead? Would you invest? It's the decisions that separate the wheat from the chaff. No offense to the chaff, but it's those decisions that make you rise above and start making this incredible amount of money as a voice artist, and funding all of your dreams that way. I cannot believe the level of income and revenue that I've been able to achieve in voiceovers. And there are people that are way beyond me, way higher than me. But every other one of my media pursuits, video production, videography, wedding videography, video transfer, audio transfer, disc duplication, I made more in voiceovers. I make more in voiceovers in a single year than I did in all of those other pursuits combined over multiple years. If you understand, all those other crafts wrapped up into one just don't match it. You have to treat it like a business. This only came about by treating this like a business. So
what would you say to someone who comes to you and says, I really want to make this work, but I don't know how to run a business. I don't know. I'm not very business minded, you know. I'm sure a lot of people, including myself, have come up to you and you know, said that. But so how would you get into that mindset? What is the steps that you would take to start thinking like an entrepreneur?
Yeah, I would say you're in luck. I know a fantastic coach. I got into business coaching for that reason. A lot of people just simply don't know what they don't know. Do I need a business license? Should I become an LLC? Should I join networking groups like LaTip and Biz Builders and Chamber of Commerce? Should I pay taxes? I mean, there's lots of little things and subtle nuances that go into becoming an entrepreneur, and not just an entrepreneur in name, but an entrepreneur with a business license. You know, you've got your tax ID number, or you've got your state UBI number for Washington. We have a unified business identifier number. Is it worth getting those things? Are you going to have to pay taxes if you do? Yeah. And yeah, it's approaching someone. If you really want to fund your dreams, I just love that phrase. If you really want to fund your dreams with voiceovers, then you need to treat it officially and treat it like an enterprise, not a hobby. And so what do you do if you don't know how to run an enterprise? You talk to someone who does. I've been running business. I've been running my business since 2003, full-time since 2007. And I've never worked for anybody since then. And my income and revenue have catapulted, and this is mine. The greatest thing about it is that no one can take this away from you. A hobby, and no offense to all those people who just don't have time to pursue it as a business or don't have the resources to invest into their business yet and turn it into a business. No offense to them, but a hobby, again, is just only going to provide so much. A business will put your kids through college. A hobby gives you coffee money. A business will help you buy a coffee franchise, the Starbucks franchise. It's just, there's so different. So talk to somebody who does have business acumen, and those things can be learned. We kind of live in a day and age where you can't fail anymore with all the information that's available to you in like YouTube videos and simple
free. It's free everywhere.
free. You can't fail anymore. So there's no excuse.
There's only doing, no trying.
Yeah, Yoda, the great prophet Yoda.
And you know, guys, it's the same concept of for anything, but if you don't know how to do something, find somebody who does. There is always going to be somebody who does. At this point in society, there is nothing, if maybe like 1% of something that somebody before you hasn't already done or hasn't already thought. So like if you want to get into commercial voiceover, find a great commercial voice actor who coaches people on it. Same thing with narration and animation and all that. So you find the way to make the funds, to invest the funds, to make more funds.
Right. Yeah. It's a catch-22, but it's so worth it.
So how about, I like this question. Balancing work and life.
Yeah.
Because I know you're a family man, you got kids and a wife and the whole shebang, but you've also got this $1 million business going on. So how do you balance it all?
Well, if you were working a regular job, you would get up on time, you would set an alarm, you would get up on time, you would get ready, you would be out there on time every day on a schedule at your work. I do the same thing. I want this to succeed. I don't want to get fired. By fired, my fired looks like me stopping getting clients, me not getting jobs anymore, and the business tanking. That's me getting fired. That's what my getting fired looks like. If you work for someone else, you would be diligent and you would be responsible and you would be attentive to all of their job requirements. It's no less true in voiceovers. In fact, it's even more true. This is your baby and you're rising and falling on your own merits. So part of that is also, on the flip side, getting off on time at 5 p.m. So I set a strict, I'm off at 5 p.m. If I'm talking to somebody or something and it goes a little bit over, it's no big deal, but I'm off 5 p.m. My kids need me. At 3 o'clock, I have to take a break, go out, get my son from the bus stop, get him situated in the house because my wife might be putting our 3-year-old down for a nap still. He's kind of like coming up on the cliff of where you fall off and you just don't nap anymore. So there goes all of our free time.
Too much energy.
Yeah. So that may change, but I still go get Brennan from the bus stop and bring him back, and then come out and finish the day. That's the balance side of it. When I'm off, it is very hard to turn off a sole proprietorship. There really is no off switch. So if I'm doing a puzzle with him, if I'm doing a Lego set, if I'm doing anything with them, watching a kid's movie, hanging out, wrestling somewhere, doing a daddy son date day, my phone is always nearby and emails come through at any given moment from an agent, from a pay-to-play, a voiceover marketplace, whatever you want to call them, an existing customer, and you have to decide what's worth more to you in that moment. I'm not always a pro at that. Unfortunately, there's, a mortgage-paying job could come through at any given moment. And if it's in my wheelhouse, if I feel I can nail that one, then there are times where I've had to say, okay, Mommy, can you take Asher for a minute? Can you take Brennan for a minute? I'm going to run out, be back in 10 minutes. But there are other times where, I'm nowhere near my studio. So I don't have a choice, really. This is time with my son, or I've left my phone behind intentionally in order to not be distracted that way. People can go to the extreme with that, and I understand. I feel like I'm balancing it okay right now, but there are always ways to improve. One of the things I'm very confident my son or sons are going to say to me one day is, "How come you're always on your phone?" I'm exceedingly confident they're going to say that to me one day, because it's just, that's the generation that we're in, and that's this stupid technology that we love so much. So
It's become a necessity to be on your phone a lot of your time, because to be quite honest, personally, I would not be able to run a business without my cell phone.
yeah, you wouldn't. It's a
Mhm.
necessary evil. It is
Mhm.
it's an indispensable tool in this day and age, because clients can reach you. You can handle issues for a client at any given moment. You can check your website if you get a notification that it's down.
Mhm.
Phone calls can come through. You can text a client, whatever. It's just it's balanced, but it's something that always needs to be paid attention to.
Agreed. Agreed. So tell me about some hobbies, if you have any. And work and family life probably takes up a lot of time, but do you have any hobbies?
I have no hobbies. My hobbies are voiceovers. I'm
I
completely
believe that.
I'm completely dead inside. So I'm looking up at Superman right now. You can't see because I can't, but I was given a very, very cool I forget the brand name. It's like every gamer and toy person knows this brand name. It's like a Christopher Reeve Superman doll that's posable, and it's like the top of the line one that you can get, and it's like, I love that. Really big on movies, really big on Lord of the Rings, so anything with that. I love, those are personal stuff. I love going to we do this thing every 2 weeks with one son and then 2 weeks with the other son, daddy son date day. So we'll go out and we'll have food at the local burger joint and go play at the arcade. um I love,
That's fun.
honestly, this is a weird answer, I'm sure, but one of the things I really love to do, it's not really a hobby, but it is just a total unwind and untethering, and it's like I look forward to this time every day after work, is go inside, lay on the floor with, partially propped up on the beanbag chair right by our TV in our living room, and let Macy, our dog, come up and just, love on her ears. She loves that. Love her ears, and just rub her sides. And the kids come up. I'm right at their level. They're right at mine. There's no hierarchy. There's no parenting. It's just us playing together. And Asher is at that point where he just loves to tell you about anything. Uh, so random, completely random. And Brennan is incredibly inventive and creative. So just being in their presence is, you could call that a hobby, being in my kids' presence and just being with them and receiving and giving from them. I love being a daddy. That would be my best hobby, is being a daddy.
Oh, that's so wholesome.
Yeah, I love my kiddos.
I have 7 cats, so that's my hobby.
You could be a kitty mommy.
I am a cat mother.
Not
There's
wrong.
some scratching at the door right now, but
Better get a beanbag chair, get down on the floor, get at their level.
hey, I've been needing to buy a beanbag chair. Great idea. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, though, I just want you to know I have a Gandalf here somewhere, and I moved within the last few months, so I haven't found him just yet, but I will. But he stays usually like at my on my, what do you call it, shelf near my
Yeah,
office desktop over here.
there's mine right up there. The question is, though, is this a Gandalf the gray or a Gandalf the white?
Gandalf the Gray.
Okay, see, I've got a white. There's white right up there. He's looking at me.
It's perfect.
I used to have a Gandalf standee. I think he was 6 feet tall, and boy, over the years, and he was a Gandalf the white too. But over the years, he's holding his staff, and his staff just gets bent, and it's flimsy, and it's hanging down like this, and you got to tape it up and reinforce it on the back. And I don't know what happened to that. It vanished somewhere. Probably dropped in Mount Doom
You'll
somewhere.
have to get another one.
I'll have to get it up. Yeah, we have one of those life circumstances where we just have too many things right now. The kids we tell everybody no gifts, no toys for Christmas. Just like books and clothes will be fine. They don't need any more toys because there's just like stupid things everywhere on the floor and kids are messy and just, I love my kids, but geez.
I remember when I was a kid, my big thing was Barbies. And I swear to you, they're probably still somewhere like in our barn loft or something in storage. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I had over 100 Barbies and only like 3, maybe 4 Ken dolls. It was,
Sounds like a proper ratio.
it was a great ratio for them. Nice little harem they had going on.
Ken probably appreciated that ratio.
Right? I had Barbies and
the girls for every boy. Is that Beach Boys?
I couldn't tell you. I have to hear it again to listen to the voice. But yeah, I had Barbies and then food. I was very food motivated. So
Yeah.
anytime Christmas would roll around, Easter, a lot of the times I wouldn't even get toys, gifts. I might get another doll or something, but it was mostly food, like peanut butter, little graham cracker sticks that they used to sell. I once got a giant jelly candy lizard. It was
Sounds like
it was awesome. That's how my mom kept the clutter at bay.
Wow. Good job, Mom. Way to go.
So how about some goals and a dream role? Tell us about that.
A dream role. A dream role and a goal is probably wrapped up in one and the same right now. I was signed on a trial basis with a top tier agency in October.
Ooh,
And I was hoping, thank you. I mean, it's I don't know how long the trial lasts. It's a temporary kind of a trial period. And I've been chomping at the bit to get something with this agency. I've been on hold twice with them for 2 different jobs, which is a great thing. Anytime they're asked, hold this schedule and means you potentially have a directed session. And both times I lost out. The last one was for Target, I think, was a job for Target. So, I mean, who are they? But it's just one of those things where I was really hoping by the end of the year that I would have scored a job with this agency so far. I'm under an NDA, so I can't really divulge who it is yet. But I plan on divulging soon because that is a goal. And I think I would take anything with them. I would take anything with that particular agency. Job or role itself, I would love to just become, I've been a voice of a lot of different companies for specific runs, one-ups, whatever. I would love to become the voice for a particular company in 2023, a Fortune 500 company. Karin Gilfrey is a voice actor and colleague I really greatly respect, who is tremendously successful, very well known in the VO community, and very successful in her own right. Not just in her right, but in so many people's rights. And she is the voice, I believe, of Walgreens, or at least was at one point. And there's a women's clothing line. You buy them at like home parties and stuff, and I forget the name, dresses and things like that. She was that one as well. I would love to be not the voice of a dress line, just so, but I would
You'd be great as the voice of a dress line. Come on.
Yeah, they would buy from me. I would love to be the voice though of something big, some big company. Like if Johnny Ive doesn't do Apple anymore, and I'm not British, but I can do lots of British spots. I do them all the time. It would be really cool to be the new British voice of Apple or something like that. Oh, it would just make my day.
The voice of Microsoft.
Yeah, something big, something like you're the voice of blah blah blah. Because anyone always asks you when you just meet them, or you finally disclose what you guys do for a living. You tell them you're a voice actor. You're a voice actor. I'm a voice actor. It always goes that way. And then they ask you, where have I heard you? Where can I hear your stuff? They always ask me that. And it's so many different things here and there. I would love to be able to say though, like, well, I just so happen to be the voice of blah blah blah. I don't have that yet. So fingers crossed.
Goal for 2023. That's such a hard question to answer though. Where have I heard you? Like, I don't know what you listen to. I don't know where you might have heard me. Like, you can go to my website and listen to the stuff that I've done.
right? Where can I hear your, or where have I heard you? Well, if you've been on my website, you've heard lots of me there. I'm all over my website. There's scores of me on my website. I'm the voice of Josh Alexander voiceovers.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Okay. That's a really cool goal. And I'm sure that's probably like the unthinkable for a lot of voice actors who are even intermediate, like in their 5-6 years. You know, a lot of people don't dream that big, but to hear someone who's been working at it and grinding for so long and has dug that path of success, for them to say, I want to be the brand voice of this, and to say it with, you know, the confidence that you are going to eventually be the brand voice of a big company. That's so inspiring. I love it.
It's definitely possible. And those are two goals. Again, one could be right in the same. I could become the brand voice of something big by, you know, through being cast by this top tier agency. So both of those goals would be checked, you know, and hopefully early on in 23. But yeah, I have to say, it's an enormous privilege. It's a humbling privilege to be chosen to be anybody's storyteller. It's just so incredibly humbling. I know where I would like to be heard, and I know the products that I would like to voice, but geez, you know, give me a good cat product, even though I'm not a cat guy, and it's cat food or cat nip or cat litter. I don't care. As long as it's a good script and it pays well, it doesn't run afoul of any values, excuse me. Hopefully they don't have any vowels in those scripts. Vowels. I would take it, but it's just really humbling to be chosen for any script, anybody's storyteller, to be your voice to your people is like, wow, me, really? Such a cool thing. So every time being chosen, I remember my pastor used to say, to be unchosen is a terrible thing. I was talking about in the context of me choosing my bride, Janine, and asking for his blessing way back in 2011. And you know, it's very humbling to be chosen. So I'll take the chosen one. I am the chosen one.
We are all the chosen ones if you choose yourself.
That's right. I'm not that chosen one. I'm a chosen one. Yes.
All right. I have 2 more things that I want to do, and then we can wrap it up so we can try to keep it within an hour. I hardly ever get to keep it within an hour.
Well, I talk really fast. I try to keep it really fast and go really quick.
Of course. It was very straightforward. At least, so I think the shortest that we've done is Aya, who's head of casting of Celia Siegel. We went through her episode in like 30 minutes because she's so like direct with her answers. I was amazed because I'm over here like, I gotta think. I'm sorry. And
that's brevity.
She was done.
Yeah, that's great. That's brevity and concisement. Is that a word? Conciseness.
It's now a word. We're gonna put it in the dictionary.
Concisiditude.
What would that mean?
I have no idea. I don't have anything to do with words for my career.
Of course not. We don't speak for a living. We just talk to ourselves.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's talk about some advice. We're going to do some advice for voice actors, for any creative entrepreneurs who are trying to kick off their business, who are trying to get into, who are thinking about it. So what would you say to creatives?
I explain toujours. So there are 2 things that are really formative for me in business. One of them only happened like 2 weeks ago, and they're both kind of creeds and mottos. The first one, I had plaques made of both of them because I like the word plaque. But this one is not the teeth kind of plaque, something else. This one, it came from a movie I like to pretend does not exist, Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. I absolutely love this phrase, if you can read this. So this is spoken by Qui-Gon Jinn to a young Anakin Skywalker. Remember, your focus determines your reality. I love that phrase. So I live, breathe, eat, sleep, drink voiceovers. It's my compulsion. It is my drive to provide for my family through voiceovers and nothing else. As such, I was able to strip away every other line of media in 2019 and never looked back. No more video transfer, no more videography, no more wedding videography, no more any of that stuff ever again. So, and it's like voiceovers, really? Yeah. As I said, it's really super lucrative. Your focus determines your reality. That's my motto. That's my creed. And so if you make something your focus, it will determine your reality. You got to make it your focus, though. This one only just came to me by virtue of, or via, I should say, via Liz Atherton. Someone's endorsement of you or lack thereof has very little to do with your trajectory. I love that word. Aside from trajectory being a really hard word to say, even as a voiceover artist, trajectory. There's so many things and positions that you can be in voiceovers. You can be a leader, you can be a blogger, you can be an author, you can be a host, you can be an interviewer, you can be whatever, just all kinds of positions. Don't let the aspirations that you have be sullied, dimmed, watered down, beaten down by lack of acceptance early on. This is also a marathon, not a sprint. Plenty of people at the top, quote unquote, who've been doing it forever. And there is a hierarchy and there is a little bit of a upper echelon of the people in charge. And I feel like, sometimes I'm on the outside looking in, trying to bump my nose up against the Arctic ice and I'm in the cold freezing water and I just like to come out, and be with the people. But everybody has different trajectories. Such a hard word. Don't let anyone's lack of acceptance of you, especially early on, encourage you to, go a different direction or stop giving or whatever. Forward momentum, upward momentum. That's your goal always, no matter what people, if they endorse you or not. Those two things are super formative for me. You'll find your own creeds and your own mottos and taglines and stuff to operate by. Those are mine. I would say for the person, what I run into constantly as a business coach is people saying, I hate marketing. And I get it. People, I hate marketing. I don't want to talk to people. And I get that. It's like you feel like you're the telemarketer calling people during dinner time. It's really not the case, though. Marketing can be done so much more creatively. And one of the most creative and effective ways you can market is through an audition. So whether you're on a voiceover marketplace, like a pay to play, or you're auditioning here and there, whatever, there's so many advantages to auditioning. One of them being there's no better, more tangible way to market than through an audition. So an audition demonstrates your audio quality, your audio environment, your ability to read, your ability to understand a script, your ability to bring that script to life, your sound, whether you can follow directions or not. All of those things are demonstrated and it's solicited. That's the greatest thing about an audition, is that it is solicited marketing. They want to hear from you. Dry marketing, cold calling, stuff like that, cold emailing, that's unsolicited. An audition is solicited. So get used to auditioning well. And to that end, I'm doing a workshop on January 7th called Audition Like a Pro. You can check it out at supervoiceoverworkshops.com. Audition Like a Pro, and it's going to be in real time, multiple camera angles, multiple screen shares here in the studio, seeing what I'm reading, seeing me reading it, seeing me editing, seeing me submit, seeing me quote. And that's where a lot of people get hung up and spin their wheels, spending so much time on an audition. I'm going to go audition like a pro and teach you how to do the same. It's going to be a really cool workshop that I'm exceptionally excited about. So that's January 7th. So look at an audition as a marketing piece. Your focus determines your reality, and don't let anybody beat you down in terms of your trajectory. That thing. That
I love
word.
it. So keeping in case this episode doesn't air for a couple of weeks, it depends on how fast my editor gets it back to me. in case it's not out before January the 7th, do you have any other classes in January that
Yeah.
are available?
Well, Audition Like a Pro is going to be a course. So if you miss the actual workshop the day of, it'll be a course. And so you can check out supervoiceovertraining.com. Everything I do starts with super. Supervoiceovertraining.com will eventually have it there. So if you go to supervoiceoverworkshops.com and it's past January 7th, I will undoubtedly be doing that workshop again. Or you can visit supervoiceovertraining.com and you'll see the course among other courses there. But I do business coaching as well. So for all interested people who are, I just don't know how to run a business. I don't know how to run pay to plays. I don't know what to do with my website. I don't know whether I should get a business license, pay taxes, blah, blah, blah. Visit Super Voiceover. See, there's super again. Supervoiceovercoaching.com. You can see what fine people like Samantha have said and other people have said. And check out coaching, because it's not your traditional coaching in that you are not going to learn how to read a script better. You're not going to have a demo produced for you. Those are invaluable. That's invaluable coaching to receive. I believe the more valuable coaching that you can receive, however, is really learning how to turn this hobby into an enterprise, because so many people approach it like a hobby and they're the ones that burn out and flame out. Treat it like a business, like an enterprise. That's the kind of coaching that I offer at supervoiceovercoaching.com.
In case you guys haven't figured it out, Josh's branding design is Superman.
It's all super. Here, I'm gonna pull this down so you can see it.
Yeah. We like plugs.
Yeah. This is actually, and I have to look at the brand, but look at this. It is, does that not look like Christopher Reeve? You see it?
Yeah. Yep.
The original Superman, and he's got a little stand so he can fly up, but it's like, wow. So it's very super. Am I Superman? No, I'm about 50 pounds overweight. However, 2023 is coming, and this time I'll keep it off.
You're gonna keep your resolution this time? You promise?
Yeah, I did promise, didn't I? And this time I'll keep it off.
Can't finish thought.
Yeah.
So I would also like to say I have done, as he mentioned, some business coaching with Josh. It's awesome. I got a lot of really great information. Personally, I've been on this journey since 2019, 2020, around there. I really jumped into it. Like I quit my full-time job that was making me absolutely miserable and started with my first audition within 2 weeks. I took a little break because we all need a little mental health vacation.
Yeah.
And then I started in January of 2021 and I hit the ground running with it. And it's been a lot of ups and downs. I've spent a lot of money. I've invested, I should say, a lot of money
there you go.
into my business and taken so many classes with all of my awesome coaches. And I didn't really have a business class or coach that could really like speak to me on my level. And I liked your coaching because you kind of speak to me on my level, right? It's not so far in the future of what I'm trying to do. It's not elaborate, long emails. It's not cold call. I do no cold calling whatsoever. And I refuse to do door-to-door sales.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do door-to-door sales with voiceover, but I'm sure some people try.
That would be weird.
But I was very uncomfortable with email, with direct marketing, until I started getting some jobs under my belt. And then I was like, okay, I do provide a little value, and I'm doing that more and more as I get more experienced. I'm only 2 years into this. So it's hard for people who are just starting and they don't have anything noteworthy on their belt.
Yeah.
To be comfortable with promoting themselves. whether you're just starting and you don't have anything, or, you know, if you've got 50 jobs and you've been in a business for 3 years, you can provide something that other people can't.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely.
is across the board. Nobody can replicate you. So you can promote yourself as someone with experience, or you can promote yourself as someone who is just really looking to grab some clients. You're going to find the right people. You're not everybody's cup of tea. There's always going to be some, no, we don't need you right now. It's not rejection. It's just selection, right?
Yeah.
Same with auditions. They don't
Yeah.
reject you. They just find someone who fits the specs better.
That's it.
That's why they say, do it and let it go.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, I have never remembered a single audition after a month of doing it.
Yeah. You just got to keep going. Don't look back. There's another great phrase. You cannot steer your life by the rearview mirror. I love that phrase. You can't. You're going to keep crashing into a tree. You're steering by the rearview mirror. This doesn't just pertain to voiceover artists or the voiceover industry.
Right.
It pertains to every sole proprietorship, freelancer, creative pursuit, whatever. I'm totally going to sneeze here in a minute. You have to toe the line starting out. Many people are going to do voiceovers, and out of desperation, they're going to quote minimum rates in order to just get something on their resume. They just want to list somebody on their resume. Yeah, I've been the voice of blah, blah, blah. Dale Peterson with Virtual Field Trips is my very first voiceover client ever. Before Dale, I had nothing. I have done, I believe, if I remember right, looking at it in preparation for my next blog, 982 voiceover jobs, and made about $1.2 million in voiceovers since 2016. I started with nothing. I started with no clients. I started with no resume. But I started, and from the moment I started, I knew that there was a rate guide that said exactly what I needed to say, that told me exactly what I'm worth for every single genre of voiceovers. The same is true for any pursuit that you do. You figure out what the fair market rates are, you charge those rates, and you stick by them. And don't undersell yourself, because you're devaluing yourself in the process. Don't ever cater to those clients that want you to work for peanuts, and they've got so much work for you. If you just do this one for free, it's a lie. It is a lie. Every time it is a lie. Toe the line, know your worth from the very get-go, and just know that if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. Keep putting out great auditions. Keep making sure that you're up to broadcast snuff, and you've got everything all calibrated, and you've got coaching and great demos under your belt. Invest in your business. All of that will come in time. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly. I like to think of my rule of thumb for minimum charges, and to keep myself in track, because I get that intrusive thought sometimes of, man, I have not gotten a client in a while, and I got this lowball offer that's looking so good right now.
Yeah.
But I stay away from that, because my thought is, if I can't buy my groceries for a few days with whatever job quote that is, I don't need it.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah.
Preferably groceries for a week, and that keeps me from accepting a lot of lowball offers, thankfully. Unless it's like, a fan thing. If someone has original content, like for characters or, animation or something, and it's for school project or whatever, and it's not gonna take up a lot of my time or energy, like, yeah, I totally would love to do that. I love original content. That's awesome. But if it's a corporation, they can pay you. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Nonprofits can pay you. They got an ad budget.
Exactly.
Too. Yeah.
So for one more time, let's do a little promoting, shall we say. You guys can find me at samphilyaw.com. That's SAMPHILYAWVO.com. It's my website, all my demos, all cool stuff. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and preferably not Facebook, thank you, and TikTok. I will post all of those in the blog and in the description for YouTube, and I'm sure my lovely editor will put it on the screen in the video with a little pop-up little icons. He's really good at that. Where can people find you, Josh?
Just type in superanything.com. You'll probably land there. So supervoiceover.com or supervoiceovers plural.com. Either one of those will take you to my regular website. Supervoiceovercoaching.com is for business coaching. Supervoiceovertraining.com is for training videos on pay-to-plays, running a proper voiceover business, blogging, Reaper, blah blah blah. My from hobby to enterprise courses that I've done that used to be workshops. Supervoiceoverbook.com will take you to my inspirational book series, which is 3 books, and then also running a successful voiceover business is a 4th book, and then there's a 5th book that are out there on Amazon. You can also get them there. And boy, I'm sure there's other super voiceover things out there, but those are the primary ones. I would also highly recommend to check out itsthevoicesinmyhead.com. While it does not start with super, itsthevoicesinmyhead.com is a satirical blog a la Dave Barry, Stephen Wright, Dimitri Martin, blah, blah, blah. We're in a business, you just hit on it earlier, we're in a business where we face a lot of rejection. And it's really not rejection, it's simply selection, like you said. But, gosh, we're marketing, we're auditioning, and batting averages are good if they're 1 in a third, 300 batting averages. We're like, what, 1 in 50, 60, 70, 80, 1 in 100, whatever. It's 10%. That's a 0.100 batting average. It's even lower. And so it can be depressing sometimes. You need a shot in the arm. You need encouragement. You need to laugh. And that's precisely what itsthevoicesinmyhead.com is. It's a satirical blog. Go there and subscribe. Every week you're going to receive encouragement, exhortation, laughter, and the realization that you really can do this as a career and just unclench a little. It's going to be okay. That's what that blog is really all about.
Awesome. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I appreciate you joining me, Josh. All of the social handles, all of the websites and everything is going to be in the little brief blog description, as well as the YouTube description. So be sure to follow and like and show some love, because we all need a little bit more of that, right?
We do. We need a lot more in this world.
Need a lot more love in this world. And spread the inspiration. That's what we're here to do, is if you're looking to do something that someone on this podcast is doing or striving to do, and they have a few maybe little golden nuggets to give you, then why not?
Yeah, so, absolutely. That's truth. Preach it.
All right, guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening, watching, however you are viewing this. And participating. And we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.